in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Morning and welcome to Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Blowout is a syndicated live program of the network featuring chit-chatting and conversations on special interest topics, news, events and stories through correspondence reports, expert opinion and stakeholders analysis. So we'll be looking at stories making the rounds today in Nigeria. We'll have our guest tell us what his thoughts are on this particular story. The first story we're looking at today is on Ebonyi State, where it states that government donates operational vehicles to army and police. And we also have another story from Lagos State, where it says anti-corruption units failing by Sanwo-Olu State, where it says gunmen in military uniform responsible for killings, mark ban. And then we have our fourth story talking about infrastructure. Works Minister slams Lokoja Benin Road contractors. And then our fifth story talks about the minimum wage. TUC fumes over non-completion of negotiations.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back to Atlantic Blowout. Now let's dive straight into the stories we have for today. The Ebonyi State government has distributed 10 hillocks to the Nigerian Army and to the Nigerian Police for joint security operations across the state. Governor Francis Iwefuru, who was represented by his deputy governor, Mrs. Patricia Obila, performed the distribution of the vehicles on Thursday in Abakaliki. According to the governor, the aim was to initiate accelerate operations of joint security outfits in the state following the insecurity challenges presently facing the state. Now, we actually, like I told you earlier, have our guests in the studio who will be looking and analyzing this particular stories that we have for today, and I am eager to find out what our guest has to say about this particular story. Distributing vehicles to security for security purposes due to the security challenges facing the state. We have our guest in the studio as Ambassador Lawrence Uche Lawrence. He's a movie director, producer, and actor. A pleasure having you in the studio today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm good.
You look good. And well seated and ready to talk to us.
Yes.
Welcome again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go straight to the first story that we have on our plate for today. Can I have that story now? The very first...
Security apparatus challenges. You will find out that anytime you see the police, their vehicles are worn out. Anytime you see them, they have no gun, they will tell you they have no bullets, they have no this, they have no fuel, they have not that.
Why do we have that? I know you continue talking about that, but why do we have this situation? Because we know that when we look at the allocation of funds, definitely there are funds allocated for security.
Of course.
Then why do we have these worn-out vehicles?
Yes, why we do that is because someone sitting there is not doing his work. Because of course you should be able to have this allocation, and it's another thing to allocate properly. Thank God for the governor who is able to provide some of this. Anytime you see the police, the army, any of these security forces, you find out that the governors are the ones doing the work. Then what is the federal government doing with the money? What are they doing with all these security votes and all that? Are you getting what I'm saying? So someone is not working. Except the governors, you can't have them with good uniform. You can't have them properly equipped. Call a policeman now, there's an incident, some emergency. They will tell you they don't have vehicle.
Or fuel.
Or they don't have fuel.
I had a lot of cases like that. Oh, you have to...
Funny. And sometimes they will even tell you that from what they are hearing, the guns those guys are carrying is bigger than what they are carrying. So I keep wondering, where are these monies going to? The security force, where are they putting them? What are they used for? The man who is in charge, what is he using this money for? It's just simply because nobody is checking. Nigeria issue is that you just have somebody placed into an office and nobody is ready to...
We have provisions for checks and balances.
Of course we have. Are they working? But you and I know that they're not working. So when you look at the security thing bigger, with bulletproofs all over you, you won't be afraid to go and combat crime.
Let's trace it back up now. Could it be that the monies allocated for security are not enough?
No. You and I know. I don't want to meddle into the issue of corruption, because I don't know where you have a question on that. But when you say corruption, let me just borrow from there. It eats deep in all departments in this country. Are you getting what I'm saying? The monies, for all I know, that the budget, they are very... Security is... You find out that they give people, the governor security votes. So many governors don't touch them. Some wouldn't even want to pray that there should be any security lapses. But meanwhile, there are some who are facing it. They are all ready to bring out. Some who are good bring out their money to curb them. But the federal government will not be ready to refund them or neither pay them. Are you getting? So there are lapses here and there. The people in charge are the problem of our security.
So if we have monies allocated to the states for security, like you just stated,
yes.
Does it mean it's not inappropriate for the governor to be the one to actually provide these vehicles for the army?
Yes, it's inappropriate because for security matters already say please.
It's not inappropriate.
No, it's not okay. Let me use the layman's understanding. It's not okay.
Okay, talking about a layman now.
It's not supposed to be the governor providing.
Okay.
It should be the federal government. That's what I mean. Because it's been provided for. It's on the budget. And anything security from police, army, whatever, they're all federal government setups. I mean, they are linked to Ministry of Defense. And of course, the Ministry...
Akiolu argued that corruption is a huge burden hindering national development, stressing that history has shown that no country can develop without eliminating graft. Akiolu said Nigeria has failed to reach its potential due to dishonest practices, saying the various agencies, including the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, created to fight corruption, should be rejigged and reactivated for optimal performance. We'll come back to this recommendation. But first of all, let's get to look at corruption in Nigeria. From our very first story, you already mentioned that the fact that someone being in a position not adequately carrying out his responsibilities is then affecting other sectors and at the end affecting the people.
Yes.
Corruption in Nigeria as a whole. What's your take on corruption in Nigeria? Go on.
Well, let me start this one. I'm a Nigerian.
Yes.
Corruption is our problem. Even the newborn babies today know that corruption is our problem. That's the simple truth. You see, over the years, when Nigeria was a bit better, in quotes,
yes,
we were developing faster.
Okay. Okay.
But this time around, 80 to 90% of our political elites are there for Stobok infrastructure. And of course, corruption, what is it? When you are using the money meant for something else to do another thing, especially to benefit yourself. So whatever you're seeing in Nigeria, whatever we're passing through, is purely as a result of corruption in all sectors. I am in the Nollywood. Are you getting big? Corruption is there. Corruption.
Corruption is in Nollywood.
Yeah, of course it is there. I want to talk from there as a professional filmmaker.
Governors now.
Yes, even not from governors. You will see a producer will say, before you get a role, you give me money.
Wow.
That's corruption. A director will say, before I put you in a role, especially a female artist, you will sleep with me. That's corruption. I feel
that's in the news a lot.
Yes, it happens.
Oh, wow.
What of the school? You hear each lecturer sleeping with the girl, lecturer collect money, this and that. They're all there. Even in the homes, you will see a small girl with a father.
How did we get here? How did we get to the point where corruption has gotten
I think
to the
corruption index in Nigeria should be high. I don't know about other countries of the world, but for me, as a Nigerian, I know that we are too corrupt. It's too much. Do you know that a young man who could have been controlling just 100 naira a month, let him get into politics, just ordinary councillor, in less than 2 years, he's already a don. How is he getting the money? Money meant to develop his constituency. You see people corner them. And then let's come from here. EFCC and ICPC, are they not corrupt?
Are they?
Of course, they are.
Okay.
Who is checking them? They have retrieved this kind of money from so billion in dollars, some in pounds, trillions of naira, and nobody's accounting for them. That's corruption. We need to sit up. We need to just sit up. God should give us messiahs who should be able to sit up. And
we've had various conferences, aside the one we're talking about now, where our leaders get to talk about the fact that corruption has eaten so deep into Nigeria, and we need to step up the agencies that are
Listen, in all Nigerian problem, there is no sincerity of purpose. You see our leaders, they come. Yeah, look at it.
The people or the leaders?
No, the leaders.
Okay.
They come on air and they tell you beautiful things. Look at politics. Do you even in your own constituency, wherever, you know that they will just come and make promises. Do they fulfill them? You see a young man who pick a call now, call him, boy, he's speaking. But let him go as a councillor. He will no longer pick your call. Are you getting that?
Busy, don't you?
Busy
think?
doing what? Busy sharing money.
Oh my God.
Busy sharing the money.
Okay.
And that's what is killing this country. Except we check it, it will keep disturbing us.
I once asked a guest on a show, what can we do to completely stop corruption in Nigeria? And I noticed that a lot of Nigerians feel like the level that corruption has gotten to in the country, we cannot completely stop it. Are you also of that opinion?
Of course I am, because you've watched end of each corruption cases do not yield any result. Okay, this man has stolen money, they won't return back the money, and the person will not be jailed. Before you know, they say he's taken on bail with so billions. He returns back to the house and be enjoying his money. And watch it. You and I, thank God you're in the media, you will never hear the news of the end of that case until word over. You will even hear cases of politicians taking away whatever building they have gotten through ill-gotten wealth. And at the end, at the end of the day, he has been caught. He's been put to court to face the judgment. And then maybe they tell you they have seized this, seized that. Go and check it. A new government will come in and say, oh no, that used to be my godfather. He will return all his wealth for him.
Okay, that means we cannot completely take away the fact
it's
that
not
these
possible.
people are, investigations are usually made and these people are sometimes caught.
They are caught, yes, of course they are caught. They are even prosecuted. But the end is the problem. How do we finish it? You will say, nah, will you jail this man? Before you know, 1 or 2, 3 underground meetings would have gone, and the man is free. So that's why it cannot be. But if there are proper punishment melted, and the media carries that this man has been stripped of everything he has gotten through illegal means, and this is how
we don't have any case like that when
none has been. For me, I've not had. No, I've not had
and
that.
then these people persecuted.
Yes, and then at the end of the day, you're seeing the result effect of what they did in the office. Have you seen any?
Okay, we'd have to find out.
So because you will tell me better,
make research,
you will tell me people.
and
I know the media is doing more
to that particular story.
But I think you need to.
But doesn't mean we should stop talking about corruption.
No,
Because
we
there's no
should.
sincerity in place of leaders. Sometimes they come up in conferences like this and talk
Say
to us
too
and
many
tell
things.
us, yes, and tell us that, oh, there's corruption, this should be done, that should. Doesn't mean we should completely stop talking about
They
it.
should be talking, but I pray, like I said on air live, that I pray God to give us leaders who will truly pursue corruption. It might not be reduced, at least to a reducible minimum, but it might not be wiped away completely, that I know, but at least to a reasonable minimum. And they begin to check the office holders. What are you paying? How can you tell me that you're paying a civil servant 100,000, for instance, and then someone whose work is almost like a civil service work, because he's in a house, or you're paying him millions per month? Then how are we getting money to do it? So it's funny. This thing should be properly overhauled, and we start again in Nigeria. If not, we'll remain like this year in, year out, year in, year out. People go in there, get rich, go to their comfortable zone and enjoy, raise another set of children.
Nation's parts of the story. So let's quickly take that. Can we have it now? Okay, EFCC and the Independent Corruption Practice Commission, ICPC, created to fight corruption, should be rejigged and reactivated for optimal performance. We've had so many cases of EFCC carrying out investigations on certain people, you know. So now they're saying that the EFCC should be rejigged. Do you agree to that recommendation?
Of course. They should be looked at. Just bring EFCC and look at what they are saying. Does it mean that the courts are there to support corruption?
Okay, are you referring to a particular story?
No, I don't want to refer to anybody. Yes, don't forget I'm an actor and public figure. I won't indict anybody, but you and I know what I'm talking about. You will hear injunction has been brought, don't investigate this person. And you will never hear that man's story anymore till you hear that the man is dead or he has left Nigeria. So if we continue that way, how can you tell me that EFCC is working? They know. Sometimes we've even looked at it from the angle that they use it to fight political opponents. Are you getting what I'm saying? It's as if some men who have established EFCC with the ulterior motive to be fighting their opponents.
That's an allegation.
Yes, I am making. That's what you say, and that's why I say I don't want to mention names. Are you getting me?
I don't want to make references.
I don't want to make references.
Like you're pointing at.
It's up to you.
All right, this is Atlantic Television Network Blowout, and we have been taking stories making rounds in Nigeria today, and we actually have our guest, Ambassador Lawrence, who has been telling us what his thoughts are concerning these particular stories. We have another story we'll take before we go on a short time out. The story is from Benue State, and it says, gunmen in military uniform responsible for killings, Makban. The chairman, Mieti Allah, Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Benue State Chapter, and let's start from the beginning of the story where it was stated that military, yes, these unknown gunmen are wearing paramilitary uniforms. So the first question there is, how did they get the uniforms? Because last I checked, we're not allowed to wear these uniforms. That just anybody do not have access to these uniforms.
Well, let me start from this angle. May their soul rest in peace. Each time we talk about unknown gunmen, some of us are silent about it because in Nigeria, it's now becoming a trend. If you watch on the eastern part of the country, what are these people looking for? I keep asking, unknown gunmen walk into a village and kill people. What is the motive? What are they looking for? An armed robber picks a gun, goes to a house and breaks into a house, wants to get money or cut away properties. Now, what are these ones looking for? Who is in charge of the security uniforms they wear, or they sew their own? So if you watch, what happens in this thing, or what occurs when it comes to unknown gunmen, is still lapses in the security, how do I put it, of this country. If we have proper security, why will this unknown gunmen thing keep coming up every time from the Chibok?
Usually when things like this happen, on the very first time that we get such story, we find the government, coming in to probably make a statement, or the military coming in to do something about it, and then we heard 17 people
matters. There's a sector handling. There are a group of persons. They should be able to know that security is the major key of the sustenance of a particular country. You don't just run a country without security. That means anybody one can come and invade you and take over and conquer you and corrupt Nigeria into their own country. So if you know security is important, how can a non-government operate? If we are doing well, how can? As you're thinking to come out, the men are already up there watching you. We should be able to have trade.
and the money is provided too.
It's provided.
Okay.
But because there are some persons there who are, I don't